All right, y'all, it's time for another comparison video. Today I'm going to do a comparison between the LGV60 and the Google Pixel 6 Pro. Now, both of these devices are top tier flagship devices. LGV60 came out in 2020. The Pixel 6 Pro came out in 2021. So they're only a year apart from each other. Both are unlocked for all carriers. So it doesn't matter what carrier you're on, this will work for all carriers. So that's good news for most people, because some people, they need an unlocked phone. There's some phones that come out that are just primarily GSM only, so it hurts other people with other carriers. So good news for these devices, unlocked for all carriers. Now, when you talk about prices, there is a huge difference when it comes to prices. If you're in the market for a new smartphone, or maybe you're just looking for a secondary device, you're going to get the best value with the LGV60, because this phone, I've seen it on Amazon for $180. I mean, less than $200 for a top tier flagship device. That is ridiculous. And this phone works great, honestly. So that's dirt. So when it comes to price, the LGV60 is destroying the prices of the Pixel 6 Pro. Now, when it comes to the 6 Pro, you can still get this device if you're more into stock Android and you like the pixels and you like, the cameras on the Pixel. You can get it. You can find it for under $400. So the prices on this is not bad at all, but the prices for this is just ridiculously low. 180 bucks, 190. I mean, it's dirt cheap. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next thing. When it comes to design, which device has the better design? Well, of course, this is absolutely and positively subjective. Okay. Now, for me, I like the design on the Pixel 6 Pro better. I just like the bigger camera array, how it goes across the whole back of the device. LG's not bad, but it's more like an old design, reminds you of the S10, Samsung S10. Not a bad design, but I prefer the design of the Pixel 6 Pro better. But that's all subjective. You may like the design of the LGV60 better, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Next, build quality. Now, with the LGV60, Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, Gorilla Glass 6 on the back with a military grade protection coating. All right, so 5 on the front, 6 on the back, military grade protection on this device. When it comes to the Pixel 6 Pro, Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and the back. So you're going to get excellent protection far as build quality on both devices. Now, which one feels better in my hand? Now, this is just my opinion now. This is just my opinion. You may feel differently if you have both of these devices. But for me, I like the way the Pixel 6 Pro feels in my hand a little bit better than that of the LGV60. But the advantage I do give the LGV60 when it comes to like thickness, like I don't really like thin phones. Now, the Pixel 6 Pro is really not a thin phone, but the LGV60 is a thicker phone. So if you're like me, that like a little heavier and a phone that has a little more to hold in your hand, so it's not easily, slip out of hand. Now, this phone doesn't slip out of my hand, don't get me wrong, but I really like phones that are a little bit thicker. I don't like thin phones, but you may be somebody that prefer a thinner device. So you may want to go with the Pixel 6 Pro. But when it comes to like overall build quality, they're both great in their own right, and you're going to get excellent protection on both devices. Next, let's talk about button placement. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The button placement on both of these devices are not my favorite. Now, the advantage I will give the LGV60 is at least the power button is on the right side. Okay? Not on the left. And the volume rockers are not underneath it. But the problem I have with the button placement on the LGV60 It's just that the power button is just too high. It should be right here. It's way up here. So I literally have to stretch my thumb just to press it. Now, there is a way you could avoid that. All you got to do is double tap to sleep it. So you don't have to worry about stretching up here. All you do is just double tap the screen and it'll shut it down. So that alleviates that, but it's just too high. I don't know why LG put it so high. Now on the side here, hopefully you can see it, you got a dedicated Google button and you got your volume rockers. Now, I prefer my volume rockers on the right side since I'm right-handed, but that's just me. Everybody likes, the button placement differently. Some people like the volume rockers separated from the power button. I don't. I like everything on the right. I don't need anything on the left side. Because if it's low, I'm not going to make a mistake and touch the volume keys. I'm just not. So I prefer everything on the right and the power button lower. So it's just too high for me on the LGV60. When it comes to the Google Pixel 6 Pro, I'm sure most of you that watch my channel already know I absolutely hate the button placement on this device. I don't like that the volume rockers are below the power button. The power button should be below the volume rockers. That's my opinion. That's the way it is on majority of phones. That's the way I believe it should be. Now, you may disagree. You may not have a problem with the volume rockers being here, but I very seldom interact with my volume rockers. I'm always interacting with the power button. So to me, the power button should be where the volume rockers are. So I absolutely hate the button placement on the Google Pixel 6 Pro. But if I had to choose between the two, I'm definitely going to go with the LGV60 when it comes to button placement. Next, let's talk about always on display. Now, both of these have an always on display, as you can see. Just wait for I'll turn the pixel out. I have to wait for it. Both have an always on display, but by far the LGV60s is better because it's customizable. As you can see, I have a picture. You can clearly see the time, date, day, battery percentage. It moves around. With the Pixel, this is all you're going to get. You're not getting no pictures. You're not getting any customization whatsoever. So when it comes to always on display, LGV60 wins it by a landslide because it is customizable, while the Pixel 6 Pro is not customizable at all. Next, let's talk about face unlock. Nothing to talk about. Neither one of these devices have face unlock. So if you're looking for a device and you like face unlock, you don't want either one of these devices because you're not getting face unlock on either. Now, I know face unlock is not the most secure, but it's just a convenience, and I like having face unlock. So to me, that's a disappointment. And this is where both of these companies dropped the ball because face unlock is a basic feature. So if you're looking for face unlock, look somewhere else. Next, let's talk about the in-display fingerprint sensor. Both have a fingerprint sensor on the front of the display. LGV60 is right here at the bottom. Well, it doesn't stay lit up, but as you can see, I just lit it up. Now, this works okay. It doesn't work bad. Really no problems with it. Honestly, to be honest with you, not the fastest, of course, but it works well. My issue with the fingerprint sensor is how low it is. I hate how low it is. It should be right here. I don't know why LG put this so low, but it works. It works fine. With the Pixel 6 Pro, it's where it should be, right up here, not down here, and it's 100% accurate. No issues at all. So I don't really have to go back and forth too much because for some reason, because that power button is so high, and right now I'm using the Pixel launcher, so I can't double tap, but the fingerprint sensor is fast and it's accurate. When it comes to the fingerprint sensor on both devices, I'm going to go with the Pixel 6 Pro. It has the better fingerprint sensor because it's faster and it's 100% accurate. Sometimes the LGV60's fingerprint sensor doesn't work all that great. So, both have it, but I like Pixel 6 Pro's fingerprint sensor better. It's just way more accurate. It's 100% accurate and it's faster. Next, let's talk about the display. Now, to me, this is my favorite part of any device. For the most part, is the display, because, of course, that's what you interact with the most. And it matters how the display looks. You know how bright and vibrant it gets, how sharp it is. Just the beautiful colors, all that stuff matters. Brightness matters, vividness matters, sharpness, vibrancy matters. All that matters when it comes to the display. Now, both of these have beautiful displays. With the LGV60, you got a 1080p, 6.8 inch 1080p OLED display with a 60 hertz refresh rate. So no 120 hertz on the LGV60. But this phone does get adequately bright. I don't remember the nittage is not even 1,000 nits brightness, but I'm telling you, this phone gets plenty bright, and you also can make it extra bright with a setting, or the setting button inside the settings where it says extra brightness. This phone can get ridiculously bright. So that's not a problem, but I don't need it because it gets bright enough without me having to even initiate that. With the Google Pixel 6 Pro, of course, you're only getting 777 nits peak brightness. To me, it doesn't get quite bright enough. It's not the most vibrant, vivid, sharp display. It is a 6.7 inch Quad HD plus LTPO AMOLED display. It is beautiful. But to me, I'm gonna be honest, I believe the display, in my opinion, the display on the LGV60 is better than the display on the Pixel 6 Pro, to my eyes. To what I see, it just looks better to me. Okay, but both have a beautiful display. Now, this is 1080p, this is Quad HD, but I'm just telling you what I see, and what I see is that the LGV60 just looks better to me. But that's my opinion. So now, when it comes to the display, the way the display is, you know, how you say, crafted or put together, you have some now you can't see the bezels now because of this case I have on it, but this phone does have thick bezels around the sides and the bottom, and you have this stupid notch at the top, which I absolutely hate. And keep in mind, this phone is a little narrow. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm getting tongue tied. This phone's a little narrow. It's not as wide as the Pixel 6 Pro. This is a more squared off design, which some people like, some people don't like. Some people like a phone that's just a little more narrow. They don't want a phone that's too wide, because if you have small hands, it's going to be hard to reach things. So some people like a display like the LGV60 that's a little more narrow. Now, me, I like the boxy shape because, I'm a note guy, and the notes have that nice boxy shape. So I love the fact that Pixel went with the boxy shape, because I love it. And this display overall is better in the sense of there's no bezels on the bottom or the sides or the top, and you have a little small punch hole camera, no notch. Can't see it now because of the wallpaper, but it's a very small notch. So, as far as the design of the display, is better on the Pixel 6 Pro, but the overall look of the display looks better to me on the LGV60. Next, both devices are IP68 water and dust resistant. So no issues with that. No worries about getting this phone wet, drop it in a tub, drop it in the sink, getting caught in the rain, no problem. No issue at all when it comes to that. They both have the IP68 rating. Next, both come with dual stereo speakers. Now, let me say this, and I'm going to say this right now. The LG V60 speakers absolutely annihilates, and I said it right, annihilates the stereo speakers on the Pixel 6 Pro. It ain't even close. There's no contest. These speakers are incredible. Super loud, really nice, good stereo sound. These sound just a little bit muffled, and they can't even compete when it comes to loudness and overall sound. They just don't. Now, these sound decent. They sound good. They're not terrible, but it's just no comparison. when it comes to the LGV60. Just blow, these speakers blow this device speakers out of the water. Next, let's talk about internal storage. LGV60, you can get it with 128 gigs or 256 gigs of storage. Same thing with the Pixel 6 Pro. You can get it with 128 gigs of storage or 256 gigs. So no 512 gig variant on either device. Next, let's talk about expandable storage. So there's only one device where we could talk about expandable storage, and that is the LGV60, where you can expand your storage up to 2 terabytes. So basically on this device, you're looking at unlimited storage. With the Pixel 6 Pro, no expandable storage whatsoever. Next, let's talk about the headphone jack. Only one device to talk about when it comes to a headphone jack, and that is the LGV60. You have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, also accompanied by a 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. That sounds absolutely amazing. You're not getting no quad DAC with the Pixel 6 Pro. You're just not. Okay, sound is okay, but it's not even comparable to that of the LGV60 when it comes to overall audio. It's not even close. Next, let's talk about battery and battery life. Now, both of these devices come with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. I get great standby time on both. And I also, with moderate to heavy usage, get a day and a half on both. Now, that's how I use my phone. That's me using 100% brightness on both. That's me getting all my emails and all my notifications in at real time. That's me using the always on display at its highest setting. You know, I'm using 120 hertz refresh rate on the Pixel. Of course, it's a 60 hertz. Now, one is Quad HD, one is 1080p, but I'm getting the same battery life on both devices. I could probably get 2 days if I, lowered my my display to like maybe 70, but I like everything at 100%. That's just me. Maybe if I went to 60 hertz instead of 120 hertz on the Pixel, but I'm not doing that. I get a phone that has 120 hertz refresh rate capability. I'm using it. I'm using it. So when it comes to battery life, both of these devices provide great battery life. Next, let's talk about wireless charging. Both come with wireless charging, supposedly fast wireless charging, but really not fast to me because compared to my other devices that I have, and I have a lot of devices, the wireless charging speeds on both of these devices are painfully slow. And I'm going to say it again, painfully slow. So if you're a type of person that likes wireless charging like me, and I use wireless charging all the time, every day, you don't look to try to fast wireless charge these if you're in a hurry. Wireless charge your device overnight. And for those of you that saying they're having issues with the charging port with the LGV60, my suggestion is to get a wireless charger and just wirelessly charge your device. That way you don't have to worry about doing any more damage to the port. Now, I haven't had any issues with my charging port since I've had this device, but a lot of times I am using a wireless charger. But I've used the wired charging on many occasions when I needed to charge it in a hurry, but I've not had any issues with the charging port. So if you are having an issue with your charging port, consider buying a wireless charger and just putting it on the wireless charger. That way you don't do any more damage to the charging port. Next, the difference is also too between these two when it comes to wireless charging. Also, the Pixel 6 Pro, you can get reverse wireless charging. No reverse wireless charging available on the LGV60. All right, next, let's talk about RAM. Now, the LGV60 comes with 8 gigs of RAM, and the Pixel 6 Pro comes with 12 gigs of RAM. Now, of course, you're getting 4 more gigs of RAM, so you could keep more things open in the background with that of the Pixel 6 Pro. But when it comes to overall RAM management, You're going to get excellent RAM management on both of these devices. No question about it. Next, both support Wi-Fi 6. So these phones are both future-proofed. Next, both have great phone call quality. So you're going to get great phone call quality on both of these devices. Something I normally don't even mention when I'm talking about smartphones, but that is important because most of us, that's what these are. They're phones. So most people, don't just get these for all the features. They got to talk on them too. So you want a phone that's going to give you good phone call quality, and I get great phone call quality on both of these devices. Next, when it comes to performance, now you're going to get great performance on both of these devices. Both of these devices are super fast and super smooth. Now, I can't say which one's better than the other because they both work really well. I may give the Pixel 6 Pro a slight edge, maybe a slight faster, but it's just slight. It really is. You're going to get great performance on both. Now, with the LGV60, Snapdragon 65, with the Pixel 6 Pro, first generation Tensor chip, you're going to get great performance on both. No issues at all. Like I said, both are very fast and both are very, very smooth. Now, when it comes to software and Android updates, the LGV60, now I don't have it yet, but I'm expecting to get Android 13 relatively soon. It has been released to T-Mobile variant. I have an AT&T variant here. I'm just waiting for it to be updated to my phone. But Android 13 will be the last installment of Android updates for the LGV60. With the Pixel 6 Pro, if you're a person that's, you're into updates and you need the latest and greatest version of Android, then you may want to consider the Pixel 6 Pro because this phone is going to receive Android 15. And it's going to get longer security support. So you're looking at 3 more years of security patches and 2 more years of software updates. No more software updates except Android 13. And this year will more than likely be the last year when it comes to security patches for the LGV60. Next, let's talk about special features. Now, I'm not going to go heavily into this, nor deep into this. I'm just going to name a few things because, I'm probably going to miss some stuff if I try to go too deep. Now, I'm just going to mention a few things with the LGV60 when it comes to special features that I consider special features. And also, I'm going to mention a few special features that of the Pixel 6 Pro. All right. Now, let's start with the LGV60. So with the LGV60, you can use a pen. So you have pen support, dual screen case, which I do have. And there's some people out there that have that, which you can get, where you can multitask to your heart's content. You're getting 2 full screens as opposed to half a screen when you're multitasking on most Android devices. So you can get that dual screen case compatibility and take your multitasking to a whole nother level. Also, you get one-handed mode, so you can bring the screen down closer to you. Remember, I told you earlier about the extra brightness button. You also have video enhancer. You can enhance the video quality of your device even more. I already mentioned the 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. You also have the Google feed. When you slide to the left, you got the Google feed. Of course, the Pixel has the Google feed, also built into the device when you go to the left also. You got manual mode on the camera and video on the LGV60, which takes the video capability of this device to a whole nother level, which is great. There's no manual mode on the Pixel 6 Pro. And also, you got YouTube Live. So you can go straight live on this phone with a YouTube Live application that you can use to automatically video straight live to YouTube without having to go through any other method. Just press that button, boom, you're live on YouTube through your channel. So I do like that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the LGV60 is the only phone that still does that. I don't think there's any other device out there that does that. At least I haven't heard of it. All right, so let's take a look at the Pixel 6 Pro special features. So my favorite is the speech to text, because that speech to text is absolutely phenomenal. It's 100% accurate. And the thing that really trips me out is that you can literally speak your text, right? And then say send. And it sends your text without having you press the send button. I wish all Android phones had the capability of doing that. I hope one day they do. That's phenomenal. You can just speak your text and just say send and it'll send it. So that's my favorite special feature on the Pixel. You also have one-handed mode, live translate. You got the quick tap. So basically you could tap the back of the phone to make it do, other functions, which is cool. I've tried that. It's really nice. I actually, let me show you really quick. I'm gonna tap on the back. I think I got it to activate Google. Let me see. See? It activate Android Google Assistant on the bottom. So that's cool. I like that. I definitely like that. Now you could have it do other things like, tap for your notifications, tap for other things. A lot of other things that you could quick tap to do, but I got it set for Google Assistant because I disconnected the Google Assistant from the power button. When I hit the power button and hold on to it, I wanted to go right to the power menu so I can shut the phone down. I don't want it to go to Google Assistant. That's annoying. So I just tap the back of the phone if I want to use Google Assistant. So I like that. All right, next feature. You also have the night sight on the camera. So you get great pictures at night on this device, which is pretty awesome. Definitely superior to the LGV60's camera at night. The night sight on here is phenomenal. And also you get sound amplifier. So you can basically tweak the sound through the USB Type-C port for your audio. All right. So they sound pretty good. Now there are many smart features that come with the Pixel 6 Pro. Let me see. I'm just gonna say them really quick because I think it should be in this queue. Okay, so when you go to this, your Pixel got more helpful. So I already mentioned Night Sight. You got Health Connect, all the things your camera can do. You get more information here. Pro tips, organize apps with folders, save battery, and more. You go in here and look at all the tips. Smart features, let Pixel suggest apps, show the way with a live view and more. So 8 tips in there. You got tools, record audio, take notes and more. It shows you about all those tips. So all you do is go in there and you can read down here exactly what these tips do. And then you just go to the next one. You got chat and serve, digital well-being, privacy and security, personal safety, navigation, the essentials, and accessibility. So this phone does offer a lot if you're, a stock Android person and you're heavily into the software of the Pixel, then you're really going to enjoy this device a lot because it does offer a lot. The majority of all of these things don't interest me and I don't use them. But that's just me. Okay. So there is a lot to offer if you're heavily into the Google platform like that. Now, let's talk about the cameras. So with the LGV60, you got a 64 megapixel main standard lens with optical image stabilization, 13 megapixel ultra wide, and a 3 megapixel time of flight depth sensor. So you got those cameras back here on the back. Now, it shoots video at 8K 24 frames per second, 4K at 30 and 60 frames per second, and 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second. When we're talking about the selfie camera, you got a 10 megapixel standard lens. Unfortunately, no wide angle on the selfie camera. I don't know why LG did that because, matter of fact, if y'all remember, LG, they were the first to come out with a wide angle lens on the front and the back. So I don't know why they took away the wide angle on the LGV60 because on the LGV30, it was definitely on there. So I don't know why they did that. Also, when it comes to video, shoots at 4K at 30 and 60 frames per second, which is great, and 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second. Now, when it comes to the cameras on this device, let me say this, they're great. I mean, seriously, these cameras are great. Now, the video when you go into manual mode, man, unbelievable. Unbelievably beautiful, smooth. I'm telling you, The photos and the videos that you get out of this camera are great. No problems whatsoever. Love it. Now let's talk about the Pixel. Now most of you already know the Pixel is known for its cameras. That's what the Pixel is all about. Software and the cameras. Now let's talk about what you get with this Pixel. Now with the Pixel, it comes with a 50 megapixel wide, dual pixel with laser autofocus with optical image stabilization, a 48 megapixel telephoto that gives you 4 times optical zoom and 20 times digital zoom. And then you have a 12 megapixel ultra wide. So you're getting something on the Pixel that you're not getting on the LGV60. And you may say, what is that? A telephoto lens. And I like having a telephoto lens on my device. Now, when it comes to video, the Pixel 6 Pro shoots at 4K at 30 and 60 frames per second. So there's no 8K capability on the Pixel 6 Pro, which is not going to be a big deal for most. I mean, it's not a big deal to me at all because I never ever use 8K video. I just don't. Especially you don't want that capability because you don't have any expandable storage. So you're only getting 128 or 256. And if you start shooting 8K video on something like this, you're going to run out of space really, really fast. All right. So you got 4K at 30 and 60, and you got 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second. When it comes to the selfie camera, you got 11 megapixel ultra wide. Remember, no wide angle on the LGV60. And when it comes to shooting video, you shoot video at 4K at 30 frames per second. So no 60 frames per second on the front-facing camera of the Pixel 6 Pro like you get on the LGV60 where you get 30 and 60. So that's a disappointment that they didn't put 60 frames on the Pixel 6 Pro. But you can also shoot at 1080p at 60 frames per second. 30 and 60 frames per second on the selfie camera. So at the end of the day, both of these devices are absolutely great devices, top tier flagship devices. Which one would I go with if I had the choice? I'm going with the LGV60. Now you may say why this phone is old, it's not going to get any more Android updates. That's not the point. I feel like I'm getting way more value with the LGV60. So you may say, well, how? Well, first of all, I'm getting better speakers. I'm getting a 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. I'm getting expandable storage up to 2 terabytes. And I'm getting a headphone jack. That matters to me. Now, I can't speak for you. Only you can speak for you. Now, the advantage of the Pixel 6 Pro, you're going to get longer software support. So you're going to get 2 more years of software support, 3 more years security. So that's the advantage of this device. But the overall package to me, I'm definitely going with the LGV60 Plus. You're going to get a better always-on display. You're going to get a better display, to me, and a brighter display on the inside. The only thing that, like I said, that I hate is the large bezels around the side, which because of this case, you can't see them. But I hate this notch. That's the only thing that really turns me off about this display. But other than that, it does get brighter than the Pixel 6 Pro. It's very efficient. The battery life is great on this device. IP68 water and dust resistance, Wi-Fi 6. I mean, you're getting it all. But the speakers on this device, the cameras are great. You're getting expandable storage. You're getting a headphone jack, 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. You're just going to get a little bit more value to me with the LGV60. Plus, this device is a lot cheaper. You can get it for like $180, $190, which you're going to still pay close to $400 for the Pixel 6 Pro. So it just comes down to personal preference and to which one of these devices work best for you. Which one of these work best for you? Which one do you prefer? What do you need in a device? See, people ask me, which one do you think I should get? I really can't tell you that. It depends on what you need in a device. Do you need expandable storage? Do you need great speakers? Do you need a quad deck? Do you need a headphone jack? Do you need a brighter display? So it really comes down to what you need. Do you need stock Android? Some people don't like other skin. Some people just don't like LG devices. They don't like LG skin. So if you want a more stock Android experience, then you want to go with the Pixel. Maybe you like the photo and video capabilities of the Pixel better. Maybe you need future software and security patch support. Maybe that's something you need. So it just depends on you. Now, like I said, for me, I'm going with the LGV60 because the things I mentioned are the things that I would prefer over the Pixel 6 Pro. But both of these are great devices, and you can't go wrong with either. So thank you for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Hope everybody out there is staying safe, staying well, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.